The Tatacoa Desert, a land where time seems to stand still and nature reveals its raw, untamed beauty. Here the sands whisper stories of ancient earth, and every turn feels like an exploration of another world. We started our journey at HQ in Bogotá. There's always a sense of excitement before embarking on a journey into the unknown. Double checking gear, loading up our supplies, and making sure everything is adventure ready. We set out. First things first, fuel. We tanked up for the approximately 350-kilometer haul ahead of us. Getting out of Bogotá is an adventure in itself. The city, even in the early hours, is alive. Chaotic, noisy, but vibrant. Once you break free from the traffic, the landscape opens up and you start to feel the pull of the road. Colombia's highways are stunning, with towering green mountains on all sides. It's a reminder of just how diverse this country is. Our plan was to make it to a town called Villavieja via the famous Puente Golondrinas, a bridge that would cross the Magdalena River between the Tolima and Huila regions. There was an alert from the authorities that the bridge was closed due to severe weather. We decided to reach closer to the point where we would turn off the highway and get onto an unpaved track to assess the situation. We spoke to some of the locals who were unsure about the condition of the bridge. After much contemplation and a tinto later, we decided it was safer to continue on the highway and mitigate any risk of getting stuck on day one. We powered on and continued to chew up the distance towards our destination. Not even an hour in, we experienced a torrential downpour, which helped reinforce our decision of staying on the highway. Our next mission was to find a ferry crossing in a town called Ipe in order to cross the Magdalena River. This was trickier than expected as it did not show up on our navigation. Instead, we had to keep our eyes open for signages along the way. Once again, we found ourselves getting off the highway, following little handwritten signages towards the ferry port. And sure enough, there she was, the Magdalena, in all its glory. The water level was high and the current was strong, but luckily for us, the ferry was operational. After a short wait, it was time to board. Getting on board was an experience in itself, with literally everybody around feeling the need to get involved, giving me directions to safely back up. And yes, all this was happening in Spanish. But we made it. Once all the cars were loaded and secure, we were off. This was the first time ever I had taken my vehicle on a ferry, and it sure was a fun experience. After the short ride across, it was time to roll out. We thought getting to the ferry was a challenge, but the other end was a totally different story. The trail had a higher level of elevation changes, and the rain had soaked the ground, making some patches a bit slippery. But nothing our little Prado couldn't handle. We powered through the trail and reached Villavieja, a little town located in the north of the department of Huila. This would be our home for the night, and the perfect spot for us to top off on fuel, water, and any other supplies we might need before heading out into the desert the next day. Villavieja is the last sign of civilization before the desert takes over. It could be considered as the gateway into the Tatacoa.
And then just screw it on.
Before heading in, we decided to air down the tires. Less pressure means better traction, essential when driving on soft, muddy, and uneven terrain. It also helps soften up the ride, which would allow us to be more comfortable off-road. We set out, hoping to explore this mystical land.
A little add-on also helps in making this smoother with the ride. Less bounce.
The desert visually looks wide open, no traffic and barely any signs. But you can't take it lightly, especially with all the rain the area had seen in the past days. One wrong move could mean the end of our adventure before it really began. So we decided to ease into it. Cautious, but excited.
Rickshaw? No fucking way.
Seeing the locals traversing these conditions in a little three-wheeler definitely gave us the encouragement and confidence to venture deeper in. Our plan was to find camp closer to the Red Desert and decided to explore the northern part of the Constellation Loop. The Constellation Loop is a trail that winds through the dramatic rock formations of the Grey Desert and parts of the Red Desert. The loop is named after the astronomical significance of the Tatacoa, which is one of the best places in the world for stargazing, due to minimal light pollution and clear skies. Every trip has a feeling to it: curiosity, excitement, maybe even nervousness. But the key is to embrace it. Overlanding isn't just about rushing to the destination. It's about everything in between: the people, the landscapes, and the unexpected moments. Our desert adventure had truly begun.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo está?
As you head deeper into the desert, the scenery slowly changes. The lush greens of the mountains start fading, and the air grows warmer and drier. Things start to feel different, quieter, slower, and more connected to nature. The Tatacoa Desert is not actually a desert. It's a dry tropical forest that has transformed over time into an arid, otherworldly landscape. Located in Huila, Colombia, it spans approximately 330 square kilometers and is known for its surreal red and grey rock formations, intense heat, and some of the clearest night skies in South America. Despite the harsh conditions, the Tatacoa is home to a surprising amount of life. Cacti dominate the landscape, including species that can grow over 4 meters tall. A species that has adapted to survive the extreme heat, dryness, and occasional rainfall. These cacti are more than just desert plants. They are survival specialists, playing a vital role in the Tatacoa's fragile ecosystem. The area is also home to some drought-resistant shrubs that provide greenery and shelter for the birds and wildlife. One of the most surprising aspects of driving through the desert was the surface itself. It seemed to keep changing every few kilometers. Mud, gravel, rock, sand, and everything in between made the drive even more exciting and kept us alert. This was the first time we had ventured out to such a remote location with our Prado. It felt like the perfect opportunity for us to test the four-wheel drive system and understand how our setup behaved on different surfaces and terrain. Driving off-road is like reading a book. Not just any book, but one where the terrain tells a story and your vehicle is the translator. If you pay attention, your vehicle speaks to you. A sudden loss of traction? that's the book warning you of an upcoming plot twist. Time to adjust, ease off the throttle, and reset. Maybe a shift in body roll? The terrain is telling you to slow down and respect the contours of the land. And when everything flows, when the tires grip, the suspension works in harmony, and the engine hums at the perfect revs, that's when the story and reader are truly in sync. One of the features of the Constellation Loop was a river crossing, which feels almost surreal in the middle of this vast, dry expanse. The seasonal rains carve out temporary streams and muddy crossings, which have been known to catch people out. The surface might look calm, but underneath could be soft mud, loose rocks, or hidden drop offs waiting to spring a surprise on us. Luckily for us, this part of the desert had not seen much rain. We would go on to cross the stream a further 6 times, each crossing with its own characteristic and challenge. Just another reminder that in the desert, you never really know what's coming next. We had successfully conquered the northern loop, and it was finally time to head towards camp. After a day of exploring, there's nothing like setting up camp in a place like this. The desert has a way of making you slow down and appreciate the simple things. We sat back and reflected on this amazing day we had as we watched the sun dip below the horizon, brimmed with excitement for what the next day had in store for us. Mornings in the desert have their own kind of magic. We were lucky to have a relatively clear day, and let me tell you, there's nothing like sipping a cup of coffee in this kind of peace and quiet. It's the perfect way to start a new day of adventure. Our target for the day was to head to Cusco, the Red Desert. Entering the Red Desert of Cusco feels like stepping onto another planet. Towering rust-colored ridges, deep gullies, and narrow winding paths create a natural labyrinth, one where the silence is only broken by the wind. It's beautiful, but also disorienting. The deeper you go, the easier it is to lose your sense of direction. Every turn looks like the last, and every canyon seems to close in around you. This is a place that demands respect. It is a natural maze of eroded clay formations sculpted over thousands of years by wind and rare but powerful rains. Unlike the Grey Desert to the north, Cusco is rich in iron oxide, giving the earth its deep red hues. These formations, constantly shifting and evolving, make the landscape one of the most unique and fragile ecosystems in Colombia. Walking through Cusco is like tracing the veins of the earth itself. Every path winds, splits, and reconnects. There are no clear markers or signs pointing the way, just sun-baked walls rising on all sides. Out here, the best advice? Slow down, pay attention, and never underestimate the desert's ability to turn you around. Because in a place like this, getting lost isn't just possible, it's almost expected. Armed with limited water and with the sun directly above us, we were lost as well. Staying calm and not panicking was the key to finding the way out. Some believe spirits guard this land, ensuring that only those who respect it make it out. As we made our way back to camp, we couldn't help ourselves but think about what we had experienced in these past few days. The Tatacoa Desert is a place that stays with you long after you leave. Its silence and tranquility in spite of the harsh conditions. Its raw and unfiltered beauty. Life here is not easy, yet it persists. Its vast, breathtaking landscapes and epic campsites. To stand here surrounded by rock formations shaped over millennia is to feel small in the best way possible. To be here is to disconnect from the relentless pace of the outside world. You're reminded of something we often forget: how vast, how old, and how powerful the earth truly is. And none of this would have been possible without our little Land Cruiser. The unsung hero, a trusted companion and a machine built for places like this. Shrugging off the harsh conditions and everything the terrain threw at it, and powering on without missing a beat.